Hold up. The American prophecy for 2026 has arrived. The American prophecy for the year 2026 has arrived. Hey, make sure y'all check this video out all the way to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
America's war years are coming. 2026, America's war years are coming. And what the Lord was saying to me, I have notes here, but what the Lord was just basically has been saying to me is 2026 is America's war years, America's war years. And when I was first hearing it over previous series of days, I was thinking, Lord, 2026 is around the corner. Are you saying that we're going to have an actual war? Because I have prophesied about war here since 2020. Physical shooting war with displacement of people and civil war and running away to other countries and being a refugee. And God has said that the majority of Americans, those who survive, they're not going to die here and they're not going to ever be able to come back. That America's not going to be called home by anyone, that people are going to be in diaspora, the same way that America has funded wars in other countries and caused people's lives to be destroyed and caused people to become refugees. And then when they try to come here for asylum, then America rejects them, even though America's hands and America's manipulations are behind a lot of the conflicts, the wars, and the international destabilizations that we've seen over the past 5 to 6 decades. American greed and American hegemony has been behind a lot of global destabilization. And I have multiple prophecies to that effect. And God says that he who starts a war will eventually suffer and go down by war. And America is going to have wars as well. But it's not going to be immediate, the kind of war that goes with bullets and nuclear explosions and everything like that. And it's not talking about the prophesied invasion of the United States by Russia and China either. So let us look at what Yah is saying. 2026 is the start of America's war years. The war years are coming. Financial war, economic war, global war, spiritual war, struggling to keep your mental health, war in the press, war on Capitol Hill and Washington, D.C., between the president and his closest aides and cabinet members, machete-style exchanges in the press and the war room, the place where they meet to make decisions that will impact the whole United States. The situation room, the war room, the place where dialogue is heated and policy is shaped, will become a literal battlefield. And too many details about what goes on there will spill into the press for America to witness how the country, and especially the leadership of the United States, the greatest so-called country in the world, is coming apart at the seams. War of words, battle of wills. Watch them go at it on Capitol Hill until blood flows from the ruling party due to bipartisan dueling that is going to take more than one head from the chairs they have held so long. Senators and other high-ranking officials are going to lose their heads in this thing, axed from their positions, which have started to feel like lifetime legacy seats to them because of how long they've held them. War of words, war of the press, war of obituaries as careers get buried for good. And so God has been saying that next year, before we even get there, Americans should know that basically we're going now into a time of battling. And you even hear the Lord putting in the midst of the head of this prophecy, which is basically looking at the head of the nation, political dueling, political battling, bipartisan fighting, God is saying. Obviously, this nation has more than one party, but it might as well just be one party, because behind the scenes, the red party, the Republicans, and the Democrats are the same. They're controlled from one central hub that is called the deep state. A lot of Americans following their own secular logic and this inbuilt sense of superiority continue to mock at the idea that there could be a higher power or a higher network controlling what they feel is their free and fair electoral process and their free and fair political process. But America is a very well stirred pot where there's lots of mixing. So this is even prior to the time that God would be telling me, Celestial, you're going to see the American army in the streets. You're going to see boots on the ground. America is going to become an extremely repressive military regime. You're going to see tanks in your cities. You're going to see the army. You're going to see the Navy. You're going to see the National Guard. You're going to be confined to very limited areas of where you live. That kind of thing did happen to us. A little beta testing, a little sprinkle to see how we liked it during COVID. You couldn't really go across the individual state borders in a lot of what was happening here in the Northeast. But this is before all of that. So I was thinking, how can this country ever have a coup? How can this country ever have military running up with guns? And then I began to understand that a coup in normal parlance is a visible insurrection of power involving guns and bombs and armies and a visible shift, a visible takeover of power. But this coup that God was talking about is a coup of the systems of America. And this is now where you can slightly throw the fish line of your brain forward to where we are now on April the 21st, I think it is. What day is it today? Just a moment, please. Yes, it is April the 21st, 2025. And now this is where you can cast your mind just for the moment forward into the time where we are now as you listen to the rest of what God is saying, or at least this next part. So it's not going to be a coup like military violent takeover that God was talking about, but a coup of America's systems. All of America's financial, social, business, political, religious, and other systems will be hijacked from the inside like a virus spreading, and a new global system based on the worship that is prescribed in Revelation 13, and all the world wondered after the beast, will now take its place. Hearing this made me fatigued. I won't lie. This is what I was writing in my journal. Because as the Lord spoke, I understood how this system will spread like a cancer across the whole United States, taking over every section of daily life until nobody can do anything that isn't directly related to or monitored by the beast. This is, let's just call it small b for Obama, and the beast, big T, big B, the actual networked, highly capable, and constantly monitoring computerized global system. The new world order system will put Big Brother in the shade. When Big Brother came along, they installed mini cameras in the malls and on the street corners to watch for mall thieves and potential rapists. It's these little cameras that at first I used to really ask myself, how is it that when anybody steals a handbag, or how is it when anybody does something to anyone, where do they get this mugshot footage from the streets? I truly used to wonder, how is it that as soon as a crime is committed in the train station or anything, on the news it just says, we're looking for that man. And then you see a person walking by in a red tracksuit. And I'm thinking, where are these cameras? Because sometimes it's not inside buildings. Sometimes it's not inside malls. Sometimes it's footage from outside. Until I finally came to learn that they actually have cameras planted all over the place in every conceivable street corner. And the majority of them are not visible to the naked eye. It's not those big cameras like you'll see a guy installs in the deli to make sure that people don't steal. It's another type of camera entirely that many, many Western nations actually have along every single thoroughfare, every single street, so that anything can happen at any time, and they're monitoring it. And now they've gone even more micro, whereas inside stores, as you're entering a lot of stores, they have blocked off multiple doors so that you have to come in the store through one door. And then they even have, in a lot of shopping destinations, they'll have a little barrier that when you come to the barrier, the guard doesn't remove it for about 5 seconds. And that's because it's giving the camera time to look at your face and record it. So we're being recorded in a lot of places, and we were never even asked, because the faces are all going into this global database. So Big Brother was relying, when it came, this idea or this type of existence of monitoring populations. Big Brother was relying on the mall cameras and the mini cameras on street corners. And they were telling us, no, it's to catch thieves. No, if somebody tries to be a rapist. No, if somebody grabs a bag or hurts an old lady. But now the B system is going to be more pervasive and invasive, meaning that the B system is going to be spread far wider than just the street. outside. It's going to be spread far wider than just inside a store, inside the shopping district. And it's going to be far more invasive because it's going to ask for a lot more data for absolutely no reason than we need to have it because we're building profiles. That's what it does. The B system builds profiles because your profile is essential to how you're going to be treated and what you're going to be able to access, and how high you're going to be able to rise, and how you're going to be treated, and the kind of services that you will have access to. It is very important for the B system to build every single individual a profile. And that is why you see, for instance, in a lot of countries that have a strong rural base where people don't live in the cities, such as many African countries, India, and across a lot of Southeast Asia, this brand new push started within the last, I would say, 5 to 8 to 10 years of insisting that everybody be a banked individual. Everybody, why are you keeping your money rolled up in that little skirt thing that you're wearing in Bangladesh or somewhere else? No, it's better for you to be a banked individual. And if you can't be a banked individual within the proper scope of banking, we'll give you P2P. Here's the little mobile wallet app. So at least we can capture the data of your name. We can capture at least a cell phone number. Even if the sign up process is so easy, when we text your phone, the cell tower will tell us at least the basic regional area where you are. We need to have some demographic information on who you are. And that is because they literally, the B system thrives on interconnectivity of information. The more gaps it has in the system, when a person doesn't want to be a part of the banking system, when there's a lot of people who say, oh, I use this software to scrub my image and to scrub my pictures from the internet and to scrub my presence from the internet, the B system doesn't like that because the B system doesn't like having blind spots. Everywhere a blind spot is actually a human being who has not been adequately clamped enough so that they have the cage of who you are, your age, where were you born, who are your parents, what exactly are the diseases that you suffer from. They even want to know your allergies because that can make it very easy for you to be killed later. They just feed you a peanut butter sandwich during questioning and don't tell you, and then watch you choke and go into anaphylactic shock right there. And then they come outside and just tell you Elijah didn't make it. He succumbed during questioning. You're thinking your son was beaten to death by the CIA. It was just a peanut butter sandwich because they had that data on him. That is what the B system is looking for. It is looking for the advantageous collation of data, and it is not going to collect that data for anything positive.
These things were prophesied about years and years ago. The Bible talks about the things that are happening right now here, not only in America, but around the world. And Jesus told us to watch for the signs. And I don't know if a lot of y'all are blinded and can't see the signs, but they're there. What is going on in the world? You need to get closer to God, protect you and yours, and live righteously. Hey, everyone has their own thoughts and opinion. Make sure you drop down in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, join the channel for special perks as well. Hey, see y'all next time.